Welcome to the NEPA Scene podcast. This is episode 18. We're recording here in the Stude at 258 Studios in Scranton. I'm Rich Howells. I'm the founder and editor of NEPA Scene.
I am Lauren Q. I might speak in haiku now. 5 more syllables. No, I'm not going to do that. We were laughing earlier because I was speaking in haiku, and
you were the only one.
You were doing good.
I was on a little bit of a roll.
You were.
It was pretty good. I might break out one more haikus later. It might be funny. It might not. I don't know.
Totally should do.
Well, the thing about humor is, you know, if you don't try it, you'll never know if it was or was not funny.
That's true. Like all
and I'm all for you, you know, taking it a step up,
enjoying this thing that
and
tickles
enjoying
me.
it. Yes, the rabbit. I'm all for you taking the step up to be
I prefer the dolphin.
Yeah. I saw a boat. Oh, I'm Mark. I am Mark. I for better or worse own 25/8. So.
And we have 2 guests here today with us. We have Sergio Marzitelli and Alan Dudeck.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
They are both local comedians in the area who recently opened for Gilbert Godfrey, actually. And they have a benefit coming
he's
up.
The funniest person in the world.
Well, I don't
just even
He's
thinking
hysterical.
about him.
I don't really call myself a comedian. I call myself an asshole. But people are calling me like a comedian, so I'm combining them. I'm calling myself a cum hole.
Oh my god!
All right. Like the Shih Tzu and the Bulldog?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Alan will perform like once a month, and he gets to be called a comedian. Everyone else has to write every day and actually go to shows. And
Right.
Well, have you ever
like
gotten
that.
paid to make people laugh?
Oh, yeah.
Then you're a comedian.
I'm an asshole.
Well, I mean, look, it's potato,
Yes,
but you
that's
can.
Well, just call me a cum ass.
I'm gonna try my best, but I don't know if that'll fit in a haiku. But I will do my best.
I refuse to put that in a haiku. It's inappropriate.
If you flip the words, maybe, like the ass will come, hence the farmer.
You're not helping.
Well, it's spelled C-O-M.
Oh yeah, so that's
Yeah,
so I guess that's
okay.
that's a little bit more okay.
like a comedy documentary is called a cockumentary, but seriously, like that's what they call it.
And an
COC,
an alrapist, right?
Yes.
An alrapist.
Yeah, an
exactly.
alrapist. Did you ever watch
Arrested
Arrested
Development.
Development?
Tobias.
Funke,
An analyst and a
Dr.
therapist.
Fiunke.
the never nude.
A pianist.
There's dozens
12-inch
of
penis.
us. Dozens, I tell you.
All right, get to the site. God damn it.
Well, we're going to talk about geek culture and stuff, not just comedy. So it'll be an interesting one because there is a Geekfest benefit coming up in Wilkes-Barre, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. So on the site currently, we just posted a video from Dakota, and they're covering the Sidekicks Deer on acoustic guitar and a full piano. It's really, really good.
Do you know who did that?
Who did that? You?
Well, I got hit up, and they were like,
Oh, yeah?
look, if we, we'll pay you. Can you somehow get what we recorded to what Dan shot on his phone? And I'm like, oh, like, and it like literally the process is maybe like a nanosecond.
Yeah.
So like no skin off my back to do it.
Right, but you made it sound like it was.
I didn't make it sound like it. I just kind of, I was just kind of like, I'm like, yeah, dude, like it's a little bit of a process, but you can just send it to me and I'll do it. So for Dan and Jay out there, they literally like sent it to me, and within like 3 minutes, it was already uploaded to Dropbox, and they already had it.
Fair enough.
I threw a little color on it because I needed to put my P on it somewhere to claim it as my own.
Sure.
So, but it's a little bit, but the songs, those guys are incredible. So
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says. Why are you laughing?
It's not appropriate.
Don't turn into you're the voice of reason.
Yes.
I know. Don't.
Yeah, you have to. You have to keep it together. Let's see. We have an interview.
At all costs.
We have an interview with poet Vivian Shipley, who is at Misericordia tonight, actually, doing a reading. We have also in general news.
We had a poet here Friday.
Oh yes, you did.
You know what? You should be a part of these.
Yeah.
NEPA Scene should be a part of these poetry things in some way.
Sure.
I find it incredibly
They're always really good. I have been to a few of them in the past.
You got to
and they are
spell that
quite
out
good.
better. Well, no, we had Rachel. Actually, Katie Wisnowski, who runs Breaking Ground Poets, and Bailey Bloyd, who works with her, I think next week or the week after on the podcast, because they have their final slam coming up, and they're just such an interesting, cool group, and they kind of welcome me with open arms, even though I'm totally ignorant of poetry. But Rachel McKibbins was really good, but she was very dark. And it was like with poets, it's like, they're kind of putting their soul out there, and it's the little interstitials in between where they talk to like the audience and stuff like that kind of humanizes it.
Right.
And every story was just very like, my grandmother was raped.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was just like, but it was like and she did it in such an eloquent way, but like, it was just really like sad.
It was intense.
Yeah.
It was very intense. And one of the things that she said is, when she was up there, she was like, a lot of people at the end of this are like, I feel like I need to give you a hug. And she's like, I'm not like that. I'm just saying it. It happened, let it be.
Right.
It's not how I feel right now. Like, I have 5 kids. I'm very happy. I have a husband. She did say something funny though, and she was really pissed off at herself because it was around child number 3 that she realized that she had to accept the fact that she wasn't a lesbian, which I thought was really funny. So, but she was really intense. She was really good though. But I mean, she got you. Like you were right there, and that's the thing that's been the biggest surprise to me about like the poets and stuff, especially like the poets around here. Whereas like if they can get you in, it's really incredible.
That's how I always like learning their stories and seeing, why they write the way.
Yeah,
they
so
do
I came up with this idea for now, like, because we do like all these poetry events here, which is really awesome. But I think what we're gonna do now, if I can, and if I can get the resources to do it, is that poets usually give like an hour 15, hour 30 set. So what we'll do is we'll do the poet their whole performance, and then afterwards, so like they'll be like, "Thank you," crowd applauses. They sit down on the couch up on stage, and then we have like a moderated discussion. Where did they come from? More of that in-depth shit that I think is way more interesting.
Yeah.
To give the full rainbow of who they are.
Sure.
Maybe rainbow wasn't the prism.
Yeah.
The prism of who they are. So, okay, so Misericordia had
nothing wrong with rainbows though.
No. I just didn't think it was the right analogy. I think the prism was the better analogy.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think a
I'll
rainbow
go with
and a
that.
prism are actually kind of the same thing, as they are the personification.
I'm thinking
of
about
different-
pot of gold.
The light.
Being that it was St. Patty's Day this weekend, I'm thinking
different-
that's where my mind went first, and that was the incorrect.
Light rays.
Okay.
Well, I got a rainbow tattooed on the bottom of my back.
You have a tramp stamp rainbow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Do you really?
It goes down to the pot of gold.
He has kids, just so you know. He's like raising
You have children?
Yes.
lives, human
Yes.
lives.
It was after 2 of them that I realized I was gay.
It took you 2?
Oh my God.
It's a new millennium, man. You're all right.
Yes,
Yeah.
There's no gay or straight. It's just you are what you are, bro.
It's just me.
Yeah, which is fine. It's you. Buddy Wakefield did that here. He was a poet. Like about a month ago, and he was trying to talk about like how like the gay stereotypes and how people even those single-minded people who vilify. And he addressed the audience. He's like, if there's any of you in here who are uncomfortable with gay, and he just started kind of like hand jobbing the microphone.
That's awesome.
And like the audience got it,
Right.
but he never really said, "Hey, this is what I'm doing."
Right.
You know what I mean? Which I thought that was clever. Because I'm that simple guy where it's like, "Hey, dude, you just handed a fucking microphone. That's so clever." And you didn't tell anyone about it. You didn't tell anybody like what you were doing. I like that when people do stuff that's
Physical.
no, like where it's like you can see like they're doing something and they never acknowledge that it's happening. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I like that. Like if you're watching a movie and for some like strange reason, like, a guy in a panda suit like walks in the background and there's no explanation for it, like that to me, I'm like, it was probably the stupidest idea they had at the moment, but I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, all right, Misericordia.
All right. Well, I'll keep going. Speaking of poets, though, Laugh Out Lepka's comedy club is opening up, and he's also having poets and storytellers open for the comedians, which I think is really cool.
What's Laugh Out Lepka's?
It's a brand new comedy club that's going to be in downtown Scranton. You know where the old Banshee is?
Really?
Yeah. You know how
I thought that was a Mexican place.
It's a Mexican place, but upstairs, you know, there's that second floor area.
Yeah.
That's going to be a comedy club.
Tell
now.
me
No
where this
shit.
because I do not know.
Well, Kevin Lepka is a local comedian. These guys know him pretty well. And he is taking the leap and opening a comedy club because Wisecrackers, who used to be based in Scranton, moved up to the casino. So now there's really no comedy club in
Wasn't there two
Scranton area.
Wisecrackers, though?
Yeah.
There was, yeah. Is the
was
other
one
one
at
still around?
No,
The one at
it's all
Wilkes-Barre?
at the casino now.
Yeah.
So
that's what I
they
thought.
conformed it to.
Yeah, but there's one in Allentown. There's one in, I want
Right.
to say State College. But around here, there was one in Wilkes-Barre at Genetti's, and there was one in
Yes.
Scranton
At the hotel.
Sheridan, or it's the
Something like
Sheridan
that.
now. It
Yeah.
was something else before.
It's like that it looks like a very sterile exterior
It's
hotel.
not- well, now it is. It's nice now, but my dad stayed there a while ago. It was not sterile. Trust me. Sheridan took it over, and now it's nice. But before, it was not a nice hotel.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be May 15th. I'm going to be at Laugh Out Lepka's Comedy Club.
That's awesome.
When's his like grand opening?
It's actually first Friday, next first Friday.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Good for him. Well, there's
And then
too
he'll
much
be-
shit to do those nights.
He'll be having he'll be doing it on a weekly basis. I think he's having shows there.
So he's just doing like what, every Friday?
yeah, every Friday, and then I think he released a schedule just recently, so I think there's some other dates on there too.
They sell
Yeah.
booze there too.
Right.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice place.
I can't get away with that here.
May
I don't
8th
sell
is going to
booze.
be an underrated show. May 8th is going to be awesome. Ray Gibbs is going to be headlining. Sal Holmes is going to be featuring, and then local Check Out Joe.
Oh,
he just
yeah.
won the NEPA scene open mic.
Right.
He's going to be hosting. And like Ray Gibbs and Sal Holmes, they're like killer, man. I perform with them in New Jersey. I was like, I don't even laugh anymore at comedy because I'm just so used to it. They had me like on the
What's the
floor.
point, man?
Yeah, right.
Like when I watch comedy now, I'll just kind of break it down. Oh, why'd he say that? But those two dudes, man, they're like hysterical.
What if somebody did comedy in haiku?
It would
I don't
be
think I'd
awful.
laugh. Nope.
If anybody could pull that off, maybe it'd be Check Out Joe because he's more of a
Yeah.
storyteller and
Yeah.
he does the puns and stuff like that.
The Punisher, they call him.
Can I
Oh, that's clever.
I say something about puns?
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't.
There
like
was
it a
who
pun?
was who was the guy? He was a talk show host in like the late 70s.
Johnny Carson,
No. It was like the alternative guy, and he's also been like
David Letterman.
No.
Late
We're gonna go
70s.
through all of them.
I was born in 87, so I
Like
have no clue.
early or like the whole 70s. He was oh my god! And if you say the name, you know exactly who I'm talking about. He was an American guy. But anyways, I saw Alfred Hitchcock on because for some reason I get like infatuated with
Richard
filmmakers.
Belzer.
No, it's not Richard. He's on every Law and Order though. But Alfred Hitchcock said he finds puns as the highest form of literature.
Really?
Yes.
That's
So
awesome.
be punny
Yeah.
as much as you can. So tonight let's try to get as many puns or haikus in as possible.
Fair enough.
All right.
Nice.
All right. So we also have lots of photos this week. We have Eric Church photos that are up now.
Maybe that's why I'm thinking about it because I saw your post of the Eric Church thing.
That
So I've been
must
going,
be.
take me to church.
you
That's
go.
all right.
You're gonna have to stop singing that because it's gonna get stuck in my head.
I can get you other things stuck in your head if you want me to.
That's okay.
We have Ion Attraction photos. We have the Scranton Wilkes-Barre parades, of course, and some behind the scenes of the Zoo nightclub opening at the Woodlands. Alan was there for that. That was definitely interesting.
They wouldn't let me in. It was 21 and under, so I had to sneak in, and I was handing
Wait,
out,
it's 21 and under?
yeah,
More or less.
yeah.
but-
So I had to go
How
in
the
there.
fuck did you get in?
I was handing out candy.
I
Cadbury
was told
eggs.
I was told I should cover it, so I went and I was like, okay, I'm about as uncomfortable as I was at every high school and grade school dance I've ever been at in my life, and it looked like one, except everyone was like twerking and grinding against each other, and it made me really, really uncomfortable. But
I sent you a text on Friday and I was like, are you really at Zoo?
yeah,
And
yeah,
you're like, I got a couple free drinks out of it, and I'm like, all right, well,
Yeah.
that's okay.
21
Right.
and under.
He got free waters.
Yeah. Well, no, they actually had the bar downstairs. No, there was people over 21 there. They did have they had the bar open downstairs, but you had to go down to go get the drinks.
Do we
basically.
really need another club where people are painted like cheetahs? Where women are painted like cheetahs?
We need
Well, it
one
was
where
just-
guys are painted like cheetahs.
I want
didn't
one.
It was
even
just
know
for the
that There was
opening.
a club.
Yeah.
It's at the Woodlands, but they basically redid it as a zoo, and so for the opening to play on the name,
They rebrand
they had
that, like-
models get dressed up in
Any
body
men?
paint, and no, they did not have any men.
That's sexist.
I went to a club once in like the early 2000s.
What's a club?
You know, a club. The club.
You go. Wait, you went to the club?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
once.
you did that.
You went to a club once.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
I've
That was a
met-
great Laurenzition. Thank you.
See, now I obviously would not enjoy that type of thing because I'm a nerd, but everybody else seemed to really enjoy it.
You were like an
Everybody had-
Italian on
Yeah, everybody
parade
I
day.
talked to had a great time.
Everyone under 21.
No, everyone, period. They all had a good time. Everybody, even the models had a great time.
What did they? What kind of music did they play?
I didn't recognize any of it. It's
See.
completely not.
Are we
Yeah,
getting?
it was like
are
a
we
lot
getting,
of 30s and 40s stuff.
Yeah.
Are we getting?
Everybody was, standing,
Like Sophie
shoulder
Tucker?
length apart. and-
Yes. Ella
I
Fitzgerald.
think I heard some
That's
remix
awesome.
of Engelbert Humperdinck.
Isn't that Engelbert slapped you back? Slut Bunwalla. Nobody watches Eddie Izzard.
Well, one of the
No.
girls there, she had her whole left side painted, so she's all right now.
You're such a fucking idiot, Alan. Seriously.
Yeah, but that's his gig. That's his gig. I'm okay with that. You
Come
got
on.
two kids, man.
I thought it was pun night.
It's punny.
So,
What?
I thought what you said was punny.
No, whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't
Who-
do that.
What,
I
what
think my-
fucking episode of Happy Days taught you how to
Apparently,
dance?
you don't either.
No, the secret to good dancing I learned is to occupy as much space as possible
Oh, okay.
at the same time.
Like Elaine from Friends?
Just like move. Yeah.
Or Seinfeld? Oh, that was blasphemous.
That's
Wow,
the-
why did I say that? Yeah,
dance.
her dancing in that show was described as a full body dry heave.
Hmm.
Stop dancing, Lauren.
Okay.
You're Asian. Doesn't work.
Gangman style.
Can you do? If you could do that, I will learn that with you. Do you want to know what one of my bucket list thing is?
Okay.
I want to learn the entirety of the choreography of Thriller.
We can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody who wants in, let me know.
That's totally doable.
We can
don't
totally
they
do
do that
that.
at the cultural center every year?
Yeah, but I don't.
We will
Well,
work
then
on this.
It's something that
yeah.
I want to do
Okay.
We'll work on this.
because I've never done it. I don't know how to dance.
Right.
So
I'll teach you. I give lessons.
I have moves. Like I can do like a 3-point move, and then after that, I'm done. Now I got to think of something new.
I've
Like, I can't hitch it.
Rappers and music videos from like 2003. I'll just like.
It's like Rex in Effect. You can do all that.
No, like 2003 when
He's
they
a
were
pretty
just trying
good
to
rump
look cool.
shaker.
Yeah. Is
I can't
that
do shit, man?
usually it was just like pouring water on asses?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do. That's what I do.
you can
Yeah.
do.
Hold my non.
He could flip a cup on his ass.
I saw a girl do that with a can of Nutella
You should, see it.
yesterday.
You should see him do it.
I will watch it. We're on video, so when we get a chance, we'll see if you can flip a cup on your ass.
Can't do it, bro.
Don't lie. I've seen you do it.
Come on, Alan. I've got a whole like image to uphold here. Come on, bro.
And then after Zoo,
Well, this might bring us into our main topic because it's kind of geeky. We actually a study was put out by Cornell University, and they determined how long it would take for a zombie apocalypse virus to spread across the country. And it was what I thought was interesting about it is it specifically names Northeast PA in the report of all the places that it talks about. It's not like it names every state or anything. And it says basically that Northeast PA would last about a month because we're in between New York and Philly, which is good for us any other day of the year except on the zombie apocalypse when basically all of the major cities are going to start crowding in on the suburbs and things like that and take us out. So we'd be okay for about a month. It wouldn't happen right away like it does in the movies where, there's a bite in New York and then 10 minutes later in California, everybody's dead.
Well, no, it's actually a pandemic.
Right. It takes a while to spread and everything like that. So they're, going by, statistics they had with Ebola and other diseases, they determined we'd last about a month, which I think is fair for Northeast PA.
If you watch
Unless they put up a wall and did not permit anybody to enter the city limits.
Which is what happened in World War Z, but Israel knew way before. Don't know how. Didn't really explain it in the movie.
In the book it did.
But not the movie. I don't read.
God told
I don't
them.
read.
Because of the chosen people, God told them.
But then the big thing about that, though, is what kind of zombies are they? Are they going to be like the walking zombies? Or are they going to be the fast run at you, kill you zombies? Because then that would make
like
a difference.
Rabies zombies.
Yes,
right.
That's going to be a big difference on how long we last or not.
Right,
or
exactly.
mad cow zombies.
Yes, right?
What if they're like cultured zombies?
Like what we have now?
Yeah. What if it's
Then
like
nothing changes?
Yeah.
Right. What if it's like just like hipsters who like to eat brains?
Then we're doomed because it's already happened.
But
I know, but
what if it's like hipsters who want to turn people into other hipsters?
Hey.
And then the
That's
whole
pretty
world's
much what
hipsters.
hipsters do now, right?
Can you imagine? Yeah. They're like Scientology. Like they recruit you
Yeah.
and then they threaten your family if you don't.
Some dude called
don't
me
bring
a
your
hipster
typewriter to
a couple weeks
Starbucks.
ago because I had a beard. Because I didn't shave for like a week, and I'm Italian, so it just grows out. And he's like, "Oh, you're a hipster," and I'm like, "Dude, what are you talking about?"
Oh, by the way, everyone, Sergio's Italian.
Because
The name made me think it was Nordic.
Nordic Sergio,
Yeah.
Picture like a big blonde guy, 6'6", right?
Yeah. With
I am Sergio.
And then we get this disappointment.
Yeah. Fat.
You haven't
lard
disappointed me
melting
yet.
into the couch.
Neither one of you have. Neither one.
Really?
I think
thank you
I
for
think
that.
you're doing very well so far.
Okay.
There's still
I
some
got
time
lost.
left.
Hey, we
For,
got a lot
the
of
whole
time.
First 5 minutes, I had no idea what you were talking about because I have ADD and I was just like staring at your guys' shoes.
I just met you guys, but you supported my haiku thing, so you're
Yeah.
tops with me.
The haiku thing was awesome.
See, we're off on the right foot.
As he was looking at our shoes, good pun.
All right.
All right, so what else happened on the scene?
Well,
And all your right feet are up.
are you
This
guys?
is my left foot.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I'm sorry.
And that's
I'm dyslexic.
Right. And his left.
Are you guys zombie fans at all? Do you watch Walking Dead or do you watch zombie movies? You into
Read
that
and
kind
watch.
of stuff? Yeah.
Love it.
Okay.
I like, so every Sunday, not every Sunday, some Sundays, I go to this bar with my friends to watch Walking Dead. And like, I liked it in like season, I don't know, 3 or 4, but now it's just so slow. I feel like it's one episode and it's like, it's probably the most realistic show on TV because it's like, yeah, they're going to walk through the woods for an hour and they're just going to talk. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's what happens in the show. It's
That's
so
kind of what
weird.
happened
the
in the
last-
graphic novel.
It's like the last few seasons of Sopranos.
And that bar, by the
Oh,
way, is
God, that was so
Ashley
bad.
Newtown Cafe. Excellent pizza.
Yeah. I go with Delmer. You know Delmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delmer Von W.
Part of our mandate Sunday.
Yeah.
We go get sushi, we shop, and people watch, and then we watch Walking
So
Dead
you're
at
a
bar.
hipster.
I guess.
Thank you.
We just like
Yeah.
shit talk everyone who walks by us,
You,
So you're a
dude,
yell at
hipster.
salespeople and JC Penney's.
dude, I don't mean to be the guy, but
Oh my
I'm
god,
sorry.
I am a hipster. God
Yeah.
damn it.
It's either a hipster like 15-year-old girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sushi, coffee, walking through the mall, talking about how we're better than everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
we're
does-
hipsters.
which makes you feel superior.
Yeah,
You just checked off all the boxes.
I'm a hipster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
if there
gotta
was
grow the
ever
weird
if there
beard
was
back,
ever
though.
like the you know, as we were talking about before, an ornithologist.
Yes, no.
If there was ever the book of spotting hipsters,
Well,
I'd cross
which-
off
so
all
like
those
as a
and you would
hipster,
win.
if they don't know anything about like the new music that's out or movies, if they're like don't know what the new trends are, does that make you a hipster?
I don't know.
you
do you know?
reject the new trends.
I just
But
don't
that's-
follow any. I don't even have cable.
You're too
I don't know
cool
what's
for
going
that.
on.
do you know
there
what?
you go. You're cord cutting.
Do you know what the thing that always fucking bothered me about hipsters? And, you know, like I have friends that are hipsters. Like, I don't mind, but I grew up, or I didn't grow up, but when, I hate like being like, when I lived in LA. But Los Feliz is like, Los Feliz is like full of fucking hipsters. And, you know, for people who are very like, I don't care, you know, like whatever, like they take it's a lot of work for them to put in to give the illusion of I don't care.
Right.
That
I'm
has
totally
always
a
bothered
hipster,
me.
and I will admit that.
I don't think you're an hipster. You know, I think you're an academic disguised as a psychopath.
What was like the hipsters of the 90s, like that group that everyone hated?
We had so like I graduated in 98. We never had hipsters, man.
Well, not hipsters, but what was
It was
the
like
group?
the goths.
Yeah,
It was
goths.
we never had vamps. It was
I don't
always
even know
like
what vamps are.
it's like
Grungy kids.
yeah, we had
Grungy,
grunge.
okay.
Like I grew up on grunge. We were Generation X. Generation Y, I just don't understand. But we never had it. Like my school was really cool because we had like the jock douchebags and we had like the arty kids and we had like the stoners, but everybody like got along. So like somebody from some group
Yeah.
was like the middle part of the Venn diagram of all of these. So they were all connected somehow.
I
so
went
it was
to school
never
in
like
Miami, and it was like we didn't have like there was like some like goth kids and stuff like that, but it wasn't like
had what's his face? Who is the kid? Elian Gonzalez? That's what you had.
Ilian Gonzalez. That was a little kid who got taken by the government, right?
Yeah, you're going back to Cuba.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it
We're
was
gonna
like,
get the federal government involved.
literally
to
my
take
school
you out of
was
your
like
closet.
33% Hispanic, 33% black, 33% white. It was just like everything, melting pot.
But
we
did everybody
didn't
get
have any
along?
There was
I mean-
no, there was no
but-
Asians
but
there.
see, but here's the thing. When it comes down to things, is like, okay, when we break down what the American generalization are of certain cliques, which
Yeah.
would be jock, the artsy kids,
Right.
the stoners, the blah blah blah. Those are all choices.
That's true.
In your school, that had to do with culture.
Yeah, it's weird because like there just wasn't like not there was so many kids in the school. Like I think I graduated with like 12 or 1,300
Oh
in
my
my
God.
graduating class.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. So it was like everyone was just kind of normal. Like people had their things. These people listen to rap music. Nobody down there really listens to like country. And then there's obviously like the kids who listen to like EDM and that shit, DJs and stuff like that. There's a lot of that down there, but everyone
it's
was just kind
Miami.
of themselves. You know what I mean?
And I think that the great thing about being in an environment like that, I use the joke. So you grew up in Miami, which is very like liberal.
Yeah.
I've said the joke before in the podcast, and I love saying it because when I went to school in Orlando, and there was the joke that said the further north you got in Florida, the further south you were going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you get to Orlando and then it's like a completely different place.
Yeah, it was very strange because it was like half liberal, half like if you're on my property, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah. Yeah, like if
And
you
it
go
was
to
really
even if you
weird.
go to like Davie, which is not that far north from Miami, it's like all like rednecks and stuff. It's so weird.
Yeah, Florida is one of the weirdest.
Because like northern
States.
Florida is like southern Georgia pretty much.
Yeah,
like
or like
Georgia.
Alabama
Yeah, exactly.
and Arkansas and Mrs. Like all the
So weird.
things that all their preconceived notions about like Jesus, God, and how we should
But they
treat.
have the best orange juice.
You should not allow. Somebody said, Amanda, Jimmy's girlfriend.
Yeah.
She said something today. She's like, I had this kid come up to me in school, and he's like, what about the good things Hitler did?
What?
Right? And
Was he serious?
but he had an argument because, and like, this is not in any way, this just goes how
Are you
our
likening
society.
Georgia to Hitler?
No. What I'm saying is I'm using that as like the Nazis. They were an awful shitfuck thing, but some of our modern technology came out of the evils that they did. To help us understand physiology and chemistry
Eugenics
and eugenics and no. I swear to God, Lauren, I'm not bullshitting you. I watch a lot of history stuff.
Scientists came here afterwards, and they were doing a lot. of
Yeah,
stuff,
they were,
right?
and the thing is like they expatriated themselves from because they didn't agree with believe it or not, like there was a whole country convinced to destroy an entire race of people,
Actually.
Yeah.
and a lot of people in that country didn't agree with it,
Right.
But they were afraid to stand up or do anything. Hitler had I think 11 assassination attempts against him,
That's ridiculous.
but like the Volkswagen,
That's ridiculous.
it is
11.
He
How
didn't
dare they?
die 11
How
times.
dare
Done
they?
more.
But like when you think of what they did technologically and what they did, like they're responsible for basically space travel,
Like,
because
what's
it was
that
their
bell that they say the Nazis invented and people see it? It's like that bell that like moves. You never heard about that? I think
Yeah.
it's called the
No.
Nazi bell.
It was
I'm
on
so
Ancient
happy.
Aliens.
It's
I'm
on
so
every
happy
episode.
that
Well,
he's
that
not
has
here.
to, when Giorgio says it,
Aliens.
Because aliens.
aliens. It's a great show if you have marijuana around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just.
But that's the thing
Thankfully, Brad Pitt eventually put a bullet in his head. Was able to.
Giorgio?
No, Hitler.
Hitler.
Was able to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
That's
is
like Tom Cruise when he was making that movie Valkyrie. He
It was
was-
such a good
I
movie.
wish I could go back in time. When I was a kid, I used to dream about going back in time and killing Hitler. That's
Think
like what
about how
Tom Cruise
messed
said.
up that is.
Yeah, like when he was a kid, like that's what he would dream about.
He's like 7 years old.
For
and there's
Tom
like-
Cruise, that sounds about right.
I know, right?
He was like 7 years old, and he's like, all right, so I can either look at the Sears catalog, which was to children back then was the pornography of the
Yeah.
time, and he didn't fantasize about that. He was like, if I could travel back in time,
Kill Hitler.
and it's not possible for anybody to
Like,
do.
he was even that self-righteous when he was a little kid. Like, I'm gonna single-handedly save a whole
I will be
group of
as a
people.
7-year-old.
Yeah, and then he became a Scientologist. Like, I'm gonna save every. You know what I mean?
I can't wait till next week when that documentary comes out on HBO.
What
Yeah,
documentary?
I'm excited for that.
It's called Going Clear, and it's about Scientology. It comes out March 29th.
And they're really pissed that it's coming
you hear
out.
about that?
Scientology is so pissed off at them
Dude,
right now.
HBO is like on fire right now. Did you hear about that documentary?
Did you watch it?
It's on my queue. I didn't get to
My
watch it.
hair is sticking up right
No,
now
but they
just
just
even
arrested
thinking
him.
about it.
They arrested him.
Do you have HBO?
No.
The miniseries?
It's called Jinx.
Yeah.
Jinx, the life and deaths of Robert Durst, which I didn't think, maybe like Wednesday, I started watching it. It was like midnight, and I'm like, I heard somebody said something on Facebook where it's like, this is incredible. And it's 6 episodes, and the guy that directed it was the guy who did this documentary that I absolutely fell in love with called Capturing the Freedmans. If you've never seen Capturing the
Oh,
Freedmans,
it's really good.
I think it's on Amazon. Check it out. It's literally this guy started
Wait,
doing.
1 minute. Wait, Robert Durst was the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, right?
No.
No, that's
That was
Fred
Fred
Durst.
Durst.
All right.
Let him finish. This is really fucking awesome.
All right. So the guy who did Capturing the Freedmans, his name was his last name's Jarecki. I for the life of me right now, I forget his first name. But Capturing the Freedmans, the start of it was supposed to be a documentary about a birthday clowns in Manhattan. And there was like the top birthday clown in Manhattan.
Who the fuck makes a documentary about
That
Because
sounds amazing.
it's strange. He's like, let's go. Like, what makes somebody go do that? And it's not good, bad, or indifferent. It's just a curiosity to be like, kind of like, what was your path to get here? What was Lauren's path to get here? What was my path? And what happened was that the guy who was literally like the #1 birthday clown.
Yeah.
He had some things that he wasn't talking about. And what they went and found out was they're like, his father and his brother were in jail for child molestation, child pornography, sodomy, like all these things. And the documentary just goes, and the thing is that this happened like 10 years before they met him, and he filmed everything. Like he did, testimonials in his hotel crying about like what is going on with my family, like how my father cannot do this, my brother didn't do this. And at the end of the movie, like you still have no idea what happened,
Yeah.
but it created like an outrage. It was nominated for best documentary at the Oscars.
I gotta watch that.
It's really compelling.
Yeah.
It's really awesome. So then this filmmaker Jarecki decided to do it was a movie with Ryan Gosling and Kristen Dunst called All Good Things.
Okay.
And All Good Things was like when Law and Order says ripped from the news and they change people's names, and it's like, the one where it was like this pop star punched his girlfriend in the face who's also a pop star, and it's like, that's Chris Brown and Rihanna.
Right.
You know what I mean? They changed the names.
Except now in the newer seasons, they add like a few explosions, car chases, and a bunch of other crazy shit on top of
That's because I
all
called
that.
them and said that they needed it. So what happened was this guy named Robert Durst. In 1982, his wife went missing, and she went missing in Winchester, New York.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was really under skeptical, like strange circumstances, but they were led to believe that she just like fled. And Everyone always thought he was a suspect, but he was never a suspect to the police. But he comes from a multi-billion-dollar real estate family. Like his family right now owns Freedom Tower. They have the lease on Freedom Tower.
It's beautiful.
And they have there's probably 12, 13 other huge buildings in Manhattan and New York City that these guys own. They're worth billions of dollars, this family, this Durst family. So in 1982, his wife went missing. In 1992, he quote unquote quit the family business. And then in 2000, he was accused of it was like the stupidest crime, but so he tried to get away, and I'm gonna paraphrase
There's
real
like
quick.
four murders, right?
There's three
murders,
right? So there was this guy. He actually went on the run because he didn't want anybody to see him, because he's like this neurotic like billionaire who's like brilliant, but like his whole family hates him. They want nothing to do with him. His brother, who runs the company, the family business, has a PFA against him, and he was accused of murdering and dismembering his neighbor. Meanwhile, while he was dressed as a transvestite down there to kind of hide who he was, like paying in cash for the year. He actually went down there as a mute transvestite, so he didn't have to talk. And then he ended up making friends with this guy, and you still don't know what happened with the guy, but he admitted, he finally admitted, like,
he like hacked him up.
Killed him. Yeah, he hacked him up, and then like threw it. Like literally, it's like going to Lake Scranton and just tossing the bags as far as you can. They're just gonna come back up in like 2 minutes.
But like,
come to
isn't
shore.
what happened? They said like he left his mic on.
No. So I'll get to that.
Yeah.
So it's 6 episodes. It's absolutely fucking fantastic, and it's amazing, and it's compelling, and it's honest, and it's true. So 2000, he gets caught doing this. He flees, shaves his head, shaves his eyebrows, and finally gets picked up at a Wegmans in Pennsylvania because he shoplifted a $6 hoagie while having hundreds of dollars in his pocket. And his excuse was like, I just kind of felt like shoplifting. So the police caught him on that, right? And then they extradited him back to Texas. This murder happened in Galveston, Texas. Like, he cut the guy's legs, arms, torso, and head off.
That's hard.
Did he at least get to eat the hoagie? Because the Wegmans hoagies are really good.
I don't know. So, but his defense was he paid $1.8 million in legal defenses. And his defense was, it's not a question of what he did with the body after. It's not a question of what his relationship was before. The question before the jury is whether or not this guy killed Morris Black. That was the guy's name. So his defense was, we struggled. He fell. The gun went off. Shot him in the head. And then I had to get rid of the body. They still haven't found the head, which the head would give the forensic evidence to be like, okay, where did the bullet enter or whatever. So the jury finds him not guilty. But he had to serve 5 years for quote unquote evidence tampering, which is like when he dismembered the body and threw it out that was evidence tampering. So he served 5 years for that. And then he gets out. But in the interim, I think it's Winchester. I don't know why I think it is, but it's like a suburb of New York. They reopened because he got caught for that. Westchester. It was Westchester. I'm sorry. So not Westchester, PA, Westchester, New York. So the DA there reopened the case for his missing wife in 1982. They got in touch with this woman named Susan Berman, who Susan Berman was like the consigliere for Robert Durst at the time that she went missing. So like and they were best friends. So she held, him behind her, and she said everything that was needed to be said. She also, her story comes from her father was one of the biggest mafia hitmen ever out of Vegas. So that's her backstory, and they ended up being best friends. So the theory is that, so in 2001, Susan Berman was found on December 24th in her house, shot execution style, dead. And the reasons they think behind it was because she said to Bob, she was in financial straits. She goes, you know, they got in touch with me. You need to send me money or else I'm going to spill the beans. And they could put him in California. And his excuse was California is a big state.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? So that, but when you watch the guy, like he sat down, so he saw this movie called All Good Things, which with Ryan Gosling and Kirsten Dunst, and he hit up the filmmaker going like, I haven't spoken about any of this stuff in 30 years. Maybe you could be the guy who I can talk to, because in the movie you made my character sympathetic and he wasn't, you know, this evil person, blah, blah, blah. So they sit down and they do this documentary on this guy, and they make it 6 parts. And so the documentary, the final episode, the 5th episode was like, holy shit, like shit's hit the fan. They found stuff that the police never found. They did all this stuff. So Robert Durst apparently was very unhappy. This is a week ago. And he went to New Orleans under a false name, paid for his hotel in cash. And it was the next day before they arrested him was the day that New Orleans was allowing flights to Cuba. So they think he was going to hop on a flight to Cuba and just disappear.
Crazy. Yeah.
So they arrested him down in New Orleans. He goes, I'm not going to fight extradition. I'm going to go fight my case in LA for the murder of Susan Berman, who was his best friend. The amazing part is that HBO releases a statement going, you know, we're going to go through with episode 6, the final episode tonight, which was last night. And I'm glued. I'm like, what is this guy going to say? Because they were trying to get a follow-up interview with him because they found evidence, like compelling, like you can't debate this evidence that you wrote this note. Because what happened was Susan Berman got killed. 2 days later, the Beverly Hills Police Department got a note that said Beverly Hills Police. That's all it said on the front. And Beverly was spelled wrong. It was spelled EY. Sent it to the Beverly Hills Police Department. The Beverly Hills Police Department opens it up, and all it is Susan Berman's address, and underneath is the word cadaver.
Jesus.
That's all it said. And in episode 5, Susan Berman's stepson was going through her stuff. Like for the documentary crew, he's like, you know, I found some stuff. You know, I need you guys to come look at this. He called it a reality check. He goes, I need to have a reality check because after she died, him and Robert Durst became really good friends.
Holy fuck.
And she was the one who like raised him. Susan Berman like raised this guy. So like the last 5 minutes are like, here's a note that he sent my mom in 1999 and she got murdered in like 2000. And Beverly was spelled wrong. And the letters, like his handwriting, like they matched up perfect. So in the show last night, I don't want to ruin it for anybody. Like, even if I ruin it when you watch it, it's amazing.
They haven't even been putting spoiler alert in any of the news articles.
No, they're just saying it is what it is.
They said it's like the most groundbreaking moment like of TV probably ever.
Of investigative journalism,
Yeah.
It was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you wait, and so the first 30 minutes of this, like it's the shortest episode out of all of them. So the first 30 minutes of them is the film crew trying to figure out how do we get in touch with Rob Durst. He won't get in touch with us. Then he gets in trouble for violating the PFA that his brother Doug has against him. And as soon as he gets arrested for that, he's on $5,000 bail. He pays his $5,000 bail. He gets out. All of a sudden, he's calling up the documentary crew again, going like, I know you guys wanted to sit down. I'm willing to sit down now, you know, kind of set the record straight. But the other thing is the reasons why they were going after Robert Durst was because the film crew went in front of the office building of his brother's office when he has a PFA, and all these guys are taking photos of them and whatever. So the lawyers needed the film crew to substantiate the reason why he was there, not under these pretenses of premeditated whatever. So the filmmakers are like, all right, well, we'll give you all of our footage under the pretense that we get Robert for a day to interview him. And they have the handwriting samples, and they have done all of this stuff, and they're literally gonna, you know, get him. And the interview happens, and this guy is he's a sociopath. You know, when you watch him, like they presented the evidence to him, And he goes, you know, and they have the he goes, I didn't write the cadaver letter. He's like, but I did write that letter to Susan. And then they have the 2 misspellings of Beverly side by side. And they go, which one of these didn't you write? And he goes, I have no idea. And they're like, okay. Like, that's the end of our interview.
Yeah.
And the fucking guy forgets that his wireless lav is still on and they're still recording the camera. And he goes, I got to use the restroom. And he goes in the restroom and literally has a conversation with himself.
Yeah. They said his brother said he would always talk in question and answer format to himself. Like, he would walk around the house, ask himself a question, and then like respond to himself.
He has an entire conversation with himself. And his first question is, they got you. His first answer. And then he goes like, this is what you wanted. Like, and he's speaking like under his breath. Like, it's really strange. And the moment they presented the 2 writing examples, he started having like, do you ever have indigestion where you're like,
Yeah.
He started doing that.
Oh, shit.
It was so fucking weird.
Didn't he say something like, what happened? And then he asked himself, and he's like, you killed them all or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was like, what happened?
And you can't, but contextually, you don't know whether he's admitting something or giving like, do you ever see my cousin Vinny?
Yeah.
When Ralph Macchio's going like, I shot the clerk.
Yeah.
I shot the clerk. Like,
I
you
shot
don't,
the clerk.
You don't know the context in which it's in, so I don't know if it'll hold up in court. But the writing example, and they brought it to a forensic calligrapher, whatever the hell they're called. But he's like, this is the same person that wrote these 2 notes. Right. So now the LAPD arrested him, and we're waiting to hear on what the LAPD is doing, because then Westchester's going to have to go after him for the murder of his wife. She just disappeared. Nobody knows what the hell happened to her. But I'm telling you, it's like the most, so like each episode is like 45, 50 minutes long. The last one's like 33 minutes. He has this conversation in the bathroom with himself, and it's subtitled, so you know exactly what he's saying. And then it slowly fades to black because they have the camera in the conference room. Meanwhile, you're hearing this conversation that he's having. And it slowly fades to black, and there's like 20 seconds of black, and you're waiting for like this epilogue, and it just credits. And you're like, that was fucking amazing. This guy actually admitted to murder. He goes, one of the questions he goes, well, what did you do? Well, I killed all of them. And that's how like flippant he is about it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to watch it. I'd watch the entire series all over again just to see like.
I read all about it today, and I was gonna go home and just watch like as many episodes as I could before I fell asleep.
And then Alan dragged you here.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't.
Sorry,
but you can't. It's probably about 4 hours. But you can't escape from it. Like the moment it ends, and it's done. All the title sequences are done kind of along the lines of like True Detective.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it gives you like, you know, obviously there's an entertainment value to it, and he did dramatizations of each murder. So like he redid, you know, like there was this movie called The Thin Blue Line in the 80s that Errol Morris did. Errol Morris is considered one of the great documentarians, and Errol Morris did in The Thin Blue Line was like he recreated what he was talking about, like he dramatized it. But you never get to see like people's faces. You never get to see it's like the situations and the circumstances surrounding it. It's one of the most compelling things I've ever watched on television. It was so fucking cool.
So as we can tell, Marky's geeky thing is filmmaking.
That's my. Oh, are we going through all the geeky? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So let's. What did you grow up with, Alan? What were you into?
Space porn.
Cabbage Patch Kids. Pretty much.
Seriously?
Yes.
Did you have glowworms too?
No, I didn't have a glowworm. My mother got me a black Cabbage Patch Kid because all the white
like
ones
an African American one?
Well, yes, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Because all the white ones were sold out. The Caucasian ones were sold, so I had to get a black one. A little black Cabbage Patch Kid. I was into pretty much everything, you know, Saturday morning cartoons.
Like X-Men and stuff?
Oh, no, not X-Men. Talking like He-Man. What else do we
have?
Oh,
my God, I was so into He-Man.
Then you have, what else do we have there? G.I. Joe.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mask. I wasn't a big turtle fan.
What was
No,
Mask?
Turtle.
No, you don't
You ever
remember
saw
Mask?
No, what was
Oh,
Mask?
that might have been.
It wasn't as popular, but it had
Yeah.
a cult following.
I don't want to feel stupid.
Vehicles that like turned
It's
into other
kinda-
vehicles.
Mask.
Oh yeah, oh my
It's-
god,
it's
yeah.
similar to
It was-
Transformers. It had some elements of that.
Yeah, I
in
remember
there.
that. I grew up on Transformers. I loved Transformers. And then when the movie came out, and I shed a tear because it was amazing. The first one, the ones
Yeah.
after were like the search
Yeah, the
for
one
more money.
where Optimus Prime, you know.
the opening attack of Transformers. It was like I
Yeah.
remember
That was amazing. I'm like, this movie's going to be awesome.
when the helicopter goes.
And then 10 minutes later, I'm like, this just sucks. I was like, no,
I
can't
never
do
saw
it.
any.
I always
of the
loved the G.I. Joe cartoon movie too.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was real into that. Except
what's really
except how
good?
they changed the Duke was supposed to die in that. And
Was
then-
he?
Yeah, and then they said because kids reacted badly to Optimus Prime biting it, so they're like, no, we got to change
But
that.
was that
so
when
at the
he-
last minute he makes it?
Was
out of
that when he
nowhere.
bought it in the Transformers movie?
Yeah.
The cartoon?
Yeah.
With Unicron?
Yeah,
Oh, that was so good.
yeah. Well, that was the best. I mean,
A
it's so good. Yeah.
planet-eating Transformer.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. But then they turned.
And it
Rich.
was, who was the voice? Marlon Brando or somebody was the voice
Orson
of the villain?
Welles.
Orson
It was
Welles.
Orson Welles, yeah.
Welles, yeah.
Orson Welles was the voice, and then Leonard Nimoy was the new voice of Megatron, which became Galvatron.
Right.
Leonard Nimoy was the guy. It was great. Sorry,
I miss Leonard Nimoy. It's kind of weird.
I
I
refuse.
want
I refuse.
to just accept that he's gone.
I don't accept it.
I know. It's weird.
I never watched
he's-
Star Trek.
See, and that's the thing is, I'm not actually that big a Trekkie at all. Like I've seen the movies, and I've enjoyed the the show to an extent. I've
Yeah.
watched some of it and stuff, but he's just such an icon in terms
Yeah.
of just what he represented. And he's kind of one of these celebrities too, where a lot of them, like guys like William Shatner, just you almost feel guilty liking him in any way because he's such a slime ball in a lot of ways.
Wait.
That's what a lot of people
Shatner?
say about me.
Wait.
Yeah.
No, take that back.
No, I won't.
No, take that back.
No. I will not take that back. He is a complete jerk. How many members of the Star Trek cast have to write a tell-all book about how much this guy sucks before people believe that he's not a really nice guy behind the scenes?
Does that really matter?
I think it does. I think it says a lot about his character. I mean, the guy didn't even show up to Nimoy's funeral, but I guess that's a whole other.
He didn't.
No, he didn't.
no, but that wasn't. I wouldn't blame that on William Shatner. I mean, there's that. Did you ever watch Galaxy Quest?
Yeah.
Do you know that part where Tim Allen's in the bathroom and these guys come in and they're like, oh, these guys are like, that was based on a real story that happened to William Shatner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they just put that back. They put that in the movie to use for it. I think Shatner's biggest problem was that his ego got in the way of
Right.
a lot of things.
Very much so.
I think Shatner's biggest problem was he was William Shatner.
Have you ever seen Gonzo Ballet?
No.
It's the ballet done to the William Shatner spoken word album Has Been, featuring the musical stylings of Henry Rollins and the production of Ben Folds.
I have no idea.
Really?
Not
Yes.
one person you just named. I have no idea.
Oh,
who they
dear.
are.
He's
I'm
from
so
Miami.
lost.
Goodness gracious.
Like what?
He's from Miami.
Well, I know William Shatner from Priceline,
Okay.
and
That's
I know
it?
That,
That's a start.
well, I know that in Fight Club, he said he'd punch William Shatner if he could punch anybody. But that I never watched Star Trek. I don't know if he was in any other movies.
You gotta. I just started watching Deep Space Nine and Voyager.
Dude,
I've
I
always
can't.
been a Trekkie. I might more be.
Whoa.
Star Trek might be more relatable to me than Star Wars.
See, I grew
I
up.
hate you.
I grew up on Star Wars.
But that's not to say that I don't love
Right.
Star Wars.
I grew up on Star Wars, so I was always more of a Star Wars guy. But I always appreciated Star Trek.
I come
you
from
know?
a family of Trekkies, so I feel kind of torn.
It's
Right.
it's so smart. It's a really smart show. Like every episode has to do with something that it's social.
The movies, not so much.
No, the movies are just eat popcorn.
Right.
But like the episodes.
episodes
Oh my
themselves.
god, they're so good. Like The Next Generation was fantastic. Deep Space Nine was incredible. Voyager, not so much, but it's still pretty compelling stuff. And then that Scott Bakula did a thing of that was just like the first Enterprise. It was called Enterprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
I've never seen that actually.
I watched it. It was really good. I think they need to come out with a new series. And I just read an article where they're thinking like the best way to do it would do it like an anthology series.
Oh yeah.
where it wouldn't be like every episode would not follow like the same crew or whatever. It would be different things. The cool thing about like Voyager and Deep Space Nine is that there were two shows that were running concurrently, and some of the plots would overlap, which was really cool.
Oh,
so
that
you
is
had to watch like both of them to kind of get
To get the whole thing.
Yeah, which I thought was today the way TV works, where you have to like be invested in all these shows, like the Walking Dead spinoff. I'm sure you're gonna have to know shit from Walking Dead to understand the spinoff, and vice versa. I'm sure they're gonna play into each other somehow.
I don't think so.
So, yeah, the spinoff. I think he said he really wants to try and keep it separate because he wants to do because he feels like, I think he feels a little cornered because of the comic fans and stuff. They kind of expect that certain things from the comic are going to happen, so he has to kind of write that way. Whereas with this, he can kind of do whatever he wants.
It's all a whole different thing.
Yeah, there's gonna be like
shows.
it's gonna be 10 Daryl Dixons in the new one.
Yeah. I'm very curious to see what he does with it. Because, I mean, he could do whatever he wants. So, I mean, theoretically, we don't have to, kill a black person every time another black person joins the group. And, all the really great...
Who's next?
All the really great tropes that they've put into the show now.
Be careful now, because I am a season behind in the show.
Oh yeah, no, it's not spoiling anything for you. That part of it never changes, season to season.
That article
like every movie though.
It is. It's the exact same thing.
That article that was just out saying that he's finding it harder and harder to do episodes with Daryl Dixon.
Yeah,
and then last week with the horse, the black rogue horse. I don't know how that's gonna go. But enough about The Walking Dead.
So how did you guys become geeks?
I'm not a geek.
You're a hipster.
That's for the record. I'm not a geek.
Yeah,
you're a hipster.
That's interesting actually, because we brought Alan on, and then he brought Sergio, and Sergio, when I interviewed him, we actually have an interview with him on the site from a couple weeks ago that you can find, and he had talked about how there were I think it was Hannibal Burgess, the two different kinds of comedians, the two different kinds of comedians.
That was
who was that?
Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes, that's who it was. Yeah. And the ones that that called you faggot in high school,
yeah,
or the ones that got called faggot.
Called faggot in high school.
Yeah, and so it's
wait, what?
So he was the guy who would have picked on me.
Yeah, okay, so like a guy like Dane Cook, he's like that guy
Not
who
funny.
Not funny. I agree with you 100% there.
But regardless,
Not funny.
He's like that type of guy. Like you could tell in high school, he was like he had friends and he had a lot of stuff. But then you look at a guy like I don't know, who's like a nerdy weird
Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, like Patton Oswalt. People were probably like pushing him into lockers, and he probably didn't have friends, and he was like drawing things in a notebook while everybody else is playing basketball
or Star Wars fan fiction. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they said there's like two types of comedians. There's like the ones who are like, people who are like outgoing and had a lot of friends, and then just like the fucking like, geek kids or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And that's, and
so where do you fall?
I mean, here's my whole thing is anytime I would get into something, my dad would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Every time. Cause like, he's the type of guy, he was born in Italy. He grew up in Argentina, had to quit school at 12 to go and start working to feed his family. And I'm like 12 years old playing with Pokemon cards. So he's
and you're not a geek?
What the hell are you doing? Like I would do it and I do something for like 3 or 4 months because everyone else was doing it.
Yeah.
And he would just berate me for doing it until I completely lost interest in it. Like Pokemon cards for a little bit, which was funny because we were all like 12, 13. And it was
you're
just
12.
Yeah. But to him, it was just like, what are you doing? You should come to
go
work
out
with
and get
me
a
on
job.
Yeah. He was like, you should come to work with me on the weekends and learn my trade.
But that's not what you wanted to do.
Yeah, no.
So when did you get into this stuff then, hardcore?
All my friends call me a wannabe geek.
Okay.
I mean, ever since I was a kid, though, like pretty much everything. I like Joe, who the benefits for. Like he's the head of the consultorium for the Greater Geek, whatever.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that because I'm sure people don't know what that is.
It just started off with like 20 of us.
Okay.
And then just started getting bigger and bigger.
And it's just a Facebook group, basically.
Yeah, just a Facebook group, and a bunch of us are friends. Watch wrestling, all that stuff.
And they're all local guys for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
And then,
Well, this
talk about movies, comic books, cartoons.
Share links with each other, that sort of thing. You know, now the benefit specifically. What are you raising money for?
Well, Joe got sick. Joe got sick in between jobs, and he had a hospital stay, so he got stuck with a really big bill. So,
what was he in the hospital for? Because I don't know.
I don't really know. He had an infection in his leg, and it got really bad, and just I guess spread through his whole body.
Oh shit.
Sepsis.
Yeah,
Maybe,
they were talking about amputating it and stuff. And
so, how did you guys decide to put this together and to kind of theme it to the whole geek thing?
Well, because of the group and everything, and then Amanda Coleman, she's the one who's heading everything up and doing everything. She's doing a good job on it. She just came to the bar one night while we were shooting pool, and she's like, "Hey, can I throw a benefit on?" I'm like, sure. That's how it happened.
Okay. Wait, I unplugged your mic.
That's okay.
And then plus, it's fun for people.
Thank you.
Plus, it's fun just for people to dress up.
Is that better?
Yeah, I'm not dressing up, just for the record. I
yes, you are.
refuse. No,
I already got you an outfit.
What is it?
Orko from She-Ra.
Who the fuck
We're
is
gonna dress
Orko,
you up like
and what
Orko.
the fuck is She-Ra? Because I'm not doing it.
Now, have you done any cosplay before?
No, I never have. So I'm a little excited about this.
Okay. Are you a convention goer at all? Have you been to any of the
No,
conventions?
I have not.
Okay.
Actually, my first convention I'm going to, my friend Ryan Logden just released a movie, and I think it's getting picked up by Toe Tag. It's a horror movie, so it'll be a horror convention.
Okay.
In July, I'm going up with him because they're going to premiere his movie and stuff. He's a local guy.
I used to do the horror conventions for a while. It was a lot of fun, actually. You know, when I was a kid, I was into baseball cards for a little while.
Baseball cards were huge. I
Yeah,
still have all of mine.
And so do I, and they're all
Were you
worthless.
were you a
right.
sports guy?
I was just into baseball.
You don't look like a sports guy.
Yeah, no, I'm not, and I never really was. It was more. You see, that's the thing is you know, my dad worked at Panel Prints. They used to print baseball cards there and stuff. So he would bring them home, and you know, I kind of got into the collecting aspect of it more than the actual game. It was like I was collecting cards for people that I didn't even know what the hell they did. You know,
really?
It was just like I liked the way that the cards looked, you know, that sort of thing. And so at the same time, of course, my mom, she was always buying whatever the new toy was. You know, she would have to buy it for me. It wasn't even me like begging her to have it. It was just like, oh, here it is. You know, so if there was a new set of He-Man figures, I had all of them. If it was a new set of Turtles, I had all the Turtles. And so I got into collecting like really, really early, and I decided to. All right. We're back.
That sounds way better.
Yeah, it was much more supportive. It was basically the opposite, really, where they were like feeding my addiction, you know, and I kept, you know, having more and more stuff. And the baseball stuff, I obviously just fell out of it because I just wasn't interested in baseball. It was really when I discovered comic books. Like that was really the big thing. Like the comics came from the 90s X-Men cartoon show. Because I was about maybe 8.
That was so good.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was about 8 when that came out, and so that completely like changed my world when it came to that kind of thing. I'm 31.
Oh, okay.
They're bringing that back out.
Yeah, they're doing a comic now.
Yep.
That's the 90s X-Men continued, basically, which I'm really interested in.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was on a Hot Wheels, and then once Spawn came out, that was the end of me.
Oh,
I was completely addicted to Spawn.
Spawn was really, really cool. That was like during a time when, you know, it was like everything had to be edgy and dark and
did you like
and stuff.
Did you like the Spawn HBO show?
I loved it.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was creepy.
Awesome.
And especially at that age too, it was like that. It was really dark, and they never really did anything like that comic wise before, like especially on television, you know. So that was really like it was crazy to see that kind of violence and nudity and stuff on in a cartoon form.
Todd McFarlane's talking about bringing that back.
Yeah.
Well, he's working on
animated series.
He's working on a movie now.
Yeah, there was that car show at the Lackawanna Stadium.
Ruined that movie.
And he was there at the car show.
And
they had a limited edition Spawn car, and he was signing all of them.
Oh, that's
pretty
awesome.
neat to meet him. He's a big toy collector.
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah. Well, yeah, because he does McFarlane toys and everything.
His toys are so detailed.
They're so
yes,
cool.
they are.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. And he always puts the variants out too, which everyone goes nuts for, and especially like when
Right. And now, are you into the collecting now? Do you buy
not
any
as
of that
much as
stuff
I
now?
used to. You
Yeah.
know, I'll look at stuff and
Did
now
you
I
guys-
collect kids' toys.
I was going to say, well, the kids, they're probably you're probably buying more stuff for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you guys
What are
watch
they into?
wrestling?
Yeah, I was into wrestling. I was into like during the Hulkamania era and all that
Okay.
kind of stuff. So I wasn't. I know you
I
like
made it-
wrestling, right?
Yeah, I would like when like Stone Cold Steve Austin and DX was out. Like, see, I was into that.
So yeah,
for, like,
you were
2
the generation
years.
right after that. Yeah.
I
see,
was
I was
on-
like
I
was
right
under
before
the Giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andre the Giant.
I was
Right.
too young, man. I was born in '87.
Roddy Piper. I was into him. like
Am I
those
the
guys.
oldest one in this room?
How old are you?
37.
Yes, you are.
Oh, that's crazy.
You
And I'm probably the most
youngest.
immature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, I have a haiku for you. So tell me more, please, about the features of event. What fun can be had?
With what?
The event.
The event.
Oh, the event. There's a bunch of bands there. There's a hot dog station.
Oh.
They're gonna have raffles with like different things in them. Someone actually went and put a huge puzzle together, and framed it, and it's like all the Batman covers are on it and everything. Like, it's pretty neat. Some pretty cool stuff's gonna be there. I think there's 4 bands. Actually,
The bands are really varied.
Yeah, oh yeah, yes, they are.
Because you have Skip Monday and then like Prosody.
Yeah,
they
right.
are awesome, by the way. Skip Monday.
They're
Right?
amazing.
Aren't they?
Phenomenal.
They're awesome.
Right?
Phenomenal.
Right?
The
Yeah.
first time I saw them at that open mic, I was like, man, this music's perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect. Who else do we have? We have Attracted to Sin is playing, which is Amanda Coleman's band who's going to be doing it. Phoenix, which is sort of like Christian hip hop. And then Years of Madness are the bands. And then I'll be doing a comedy set. There's another guy doing a comedy set. I haven't met him yet, and I should have wrote his name down, so I apologize for that. Sergio and Delmar will also be doing sets.
Okay.
And Delmar's dressing up.
What's he? Oh, Indiana
Hey,
Jones.
coach, you can't be doing this stuff. Come on.
So I mean, is it how how long's the event? Like what?
It's going to go from like 6 to 2.
And this is at Bones Bar in Wilkes-Barre.
Yes, on 309 and Blackman Street, right off the exit there.
And it's all like cosplay, geekdom, nerddom.
Yes and no. Yeah, you could come dressed up. You don't need to.
Are you dressing up?
Oh yeah, I'm dressing up.
Are you?
Hell no.
Why not?
We were going to dress him up like Slave Leia.
That's so weird. Like I always saw it on TV and like people dressing up and stuff for like conventions. I would know. I'm a 27-year-old man, boy, whatever.
It's so
Do you
weird how
do
that became a
Halloween?
thing.
No.
Why not?
It's just like like when I was a kid, I maybe like when I was 12, I would like just wear a mask. You know, when you get a little older, you just wear a mask so you could get some candy. And then like I could say since I turned 18, I've probably dressed up for Halloween like 3 times. And it was just because I was going to a party and like I had to.
Right.
Yeah.
When I owned my bar, I used to throw some pretty kick-ass Halloween parties, and people used to come like dressed to the max. But I went as Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Nice.
Fuck me.
Yeah. But that was one.
Did you just tuck it the whole time?
Well, I got flesh colored. I put pantyhose on and just walked around with a purple robe on and a wig and lipstick. Yeah, I did a whole dance to that.
Did
And
you
then-
really? I would have dropped like $20 to see you do that.
And then I had a basket with a little puppy in it and some lotion.
Give me back my dog.
Yeah, give me back my dog, lady.
Ted Levine, amazing.
Right?
Oh.
The movie was on a couple weeks ago on TV, and my dog, who really does not pay attention to
Got in the basket.
doesn't pay attention to TV or anything, and she hears the dog barking, and all of a sudden she's like real interested in the movie, and she like watched it intensely to see what happened to
She's
the
now a
dog.
fan of Clarice Starling.
Yeah, yeah.
This is good.
It just doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, in the movie, like when they edit it on TV, and the part when she's walking through to see Hannibal for the first time, and the guy goes, "I could smell your cat from here." And I'm thinking, like, she doesn't even own a cat in the movie. It made no sense.
It took
like
me years of
Scarface.
watching that movie before I realized what Miggs did.
Yeah, Scarface was just on the other day.
On TV.
It makes me so
Oh my
mad
God.
every time it's on TV.
When like you know how in the beginning of the movie when the guy's like, "How'd you get that scar, tough guy? Eating pussy." And then he's like, "How'd you get that scar, tough guy? Eating pineapple." It's so weird. Like
Do you know that
Scarface is the most messed up
David
changes?
You know who David Fincher
sensory.
is?
Yeah.
He directed like Seven, The Game, Fight Club.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all the,
7 is amazing.
he has in his contract that anytime they repurpose his films for broadcast TV, that he has the final say on what the curse word gets changed to.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he makes it really just bizarre.
Like weird.
Like the
yeah.
pineapple bit.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch like Seven or any of those movies when they're on like TBS or TNT or whatever, and like the moment where there's a profanity, it's always something that's just like, wait, what?
That's really funny.
Yeah.
it's very Fight Club of him.
That's what Fincher is. I think Fincher's brilliant. If I had to say he's like, out of all the directors I like, he's probably my favorite.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. He's one of my favorites too. He always puts out great movies. So for the benefit, people are encouraged to dress up, but they don't necessarily have to.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, cosplay in general is, I think, just it's interesting subculture that's kind of come out of this whole thing, because it wasn't a thing when I was a kid, like at all. Like if there were little tiny conventions like about the size of what they are now, where it's just kind of a small hotel room of a couple of comic vendors. That's about as big as the Scranton Comic Con gets. They do that like 2 or 3 times a year. It's usually
Scranton
like
has a Comic-Con?
Oh yeah, at the Radisson, and sometimes at like Johnson College and stuff. And it's basically just vendors from the tri-state area just showing up selling comics. I mean, it's nothing big, but I always enjoy them just because you meet some of the real small creators there, and you get a lot of good deals on comics, because you go to like the bigger conventions and they jack up all the prices. So you don't go to New York Comic Con to buy comics.
No, definitely not.
You go there for the experience of it and that sort of thing. But you go to the smaller conventions to grab a couple of cheap books and save some money and things like that. But I think it's the whole cosplay thing, like it just popped up in the last, I don't know, like 10, 15 years or so.
Yeah.
And now that's a whole thing where people just go for that the whole weekend. Like they're in costume. They're not really like shopping for anything. They're not like looking around. They're not like, a lot of them aren't even going to the panels and stuff. Like that's just the thing that they do. They just go to cosplay and to dress
They
up
work
and stuff.
really hard.
They
on
are.
those
They're
things.
incredible.
Moneymaker. Good quality cosplay porn.
Oh, there you go. Right.
Oh man, I don't think there is a market out there for it, and especially what's going on right now,
right.
with the PAX and everything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm surprised there isn't more of that already.
What is that? What is PAX?
I can only imagine. that-
PAX is the Penny Arcade Expo, which is a video game convention. Basically,
You mentioned that in your article today.
Yeah, I did. My Infinite Improbability this week was on kind of a little bit about gaming culture, which I usually don't get into too much because I'm not really much of a gamer anymore. Like, I think everybody kind of grew up with, at least if you had one or you had a friend who had a Nintendo or a Sega or something like that.
You and I just don't have time, man.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is you have to dedicate so many hours to games now. It used to be something where you'd play for a couple hours, you put it down, and then you go do something
Make
else.
time.
Yes, you do. You just skip on sleep.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
it.
and
I can't do it. Sleep to
See,
me right now is a commodity, man.
Yeah.
I stayed up all last night writing. I was up till like 6, and it's funny because and we'll get into this in the last word, but I stayed up till 6, finished this article. I wake up a couple of hours later, I look at my phone. The first thing I see is a nasty comment. I'm like, God damn it! it's
on the
worst.
on the one.
Yeah,
on Discuss or on Facebook.
No, on Facebook. The worst is
I
when
read
you
the whole
when you
thing. I
work
don't-
on something and then somebody just like is just like
we've
real
talked,
dismissive
we've talked about
it.
this so many times. Like people just love to just come at you.
People
and-
are assholes.
Yeah.
Have you ever read like the local news comments section?
It's the worst.
If you
That's
want
the
to just
best.
hate life,
Yeah.
go to like the Times Leader and go to the comment section on any article, and they'll
it's just
take
vitriol.
anything and turn it negative.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like the most like racist, hate-filled, like homophobic, like it's like so disgusting.
and that's just like the message boards for the paper.
Yeah.
I don't get like why does everyone think that they're like it used to be telephone tough guy.
Right.
Remember we were growing up and it was like, I'll come to that phone and kick your ass. And you're like, well, I'm here waiting. Well, I don't have a ride.
Well, you know, like Reddit, do you guys go on
I don't
Reddit
understand Reddit. I can't get...
Dude,
I used to be a Redditor for a while.
Because people will, if you're like an asshole or you're just like, they'll just downvote you and nobody ever sees a comment.
Into
right.
oblivion.
Yeah, exactly. So I just go, I don't like post on there, but that's how I get all my news is on Reddit because everything is like ordered.
You get it first.
Yeah. They get it right away, and it's ordered by like whoever has the smartest comment is going to be right at the top, and like the idiots are going to be all the way at the bottom.
Who figures out who has the smartest comment?
The community.
Redditors.
So they're like that was a good.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's almost like a like
or downvote.
Right.
If you downvote, they just move down the page, and if they have enough, you just won't see it anymore.
There's very little tolerance for shenanigans.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely certain subreddits that are crazy, but you know,
don't go there.
They're
that's the dark internet. Don't go there.
Don't
yeah,
go to
it gets pretty dark.